What's up YouTube? How y'all doing? My name is Beaker and welcome to my channel. On today's YouTube video, we're going to be going over the good, better, best in the LMG category. So we're going to have the good coming in with the Stoner, the better coming in with the Bruin, and then the best, which honestly you can't deny it, it's the MG82. I know it's not super popular. We're going to be going over exactly why I think these three are where they are. I think the meta's in a really good spot. I know we kind of just said that, but I'm all for increasing TTK times as far as, so it gives more people time to react instead of getting melted instantly. So I like where everything's at right now. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into the builds. All right, so first, numero uno is going to be the agency suppressor, task force barrel for the best recoil control because we need it. Field agent grip, again, we need more recoil control. Axial 3x arms optic, and then you can jump between the rear grip of the serpent wrap to get the best ADS time. This one has better ADS times and better aiming stability, but it does reduce your ADS firing movement speed, which for me, sometimes when I want to shoot and move into cover at the same time, this thing's really slow. If you don't care too much about ADS times, but you do want that maneuverability while you're shooting, definitely recommend the Raider stock. I end up actually favoring this one more because, again, ADS time, I'm using this as a long range build, and I'm going to show you guys why this thing is the top contender. So that's why I end up favoring the stock more than anything. Number two, we're gonna have the Bruin, and that hurts me to say, right? Because I love the Bruin. I want to use this thing more, but it's definitely very niche. I'm gonna have to get used to it. The ADS time, which I'm gonna go over, is a killer with this gun. If they kind of buff it a little bit, it'll be a lot better. But basically, so the build is monolithic suppressor, Summit 26.8 barrel, just longest barrel. So VLK optic and the 60 round mag. Now, normally we used to run the Commando foregrip on this for the best recoil control. However, the ADS time is so bad that I've opted to go with the TAF laser to decrease that, and also it does help with some aiming stability as well, but the recoil obviously isn't reduced as much as the Commando does. So the recoil is more than what you're used to, but the ADS time is improved, which for me, when I was using the Commando, was like my biggest reason why I didn't want to end up using this gun more, even though it's number 2 on long range TTKs. Number 2, like there's no other gun other than the MG82. The only reason why I didn't want to use this is because the ADS time is horrendous. And then obviously the Cold War optics have like no optical recoil, so, and these ones do, the mono rifle ones still do, so that's also another factor. But I'm still getting used to this. I'm still doing testing. I have done 1 or 2 games, but there's some times where you just can't knock the numbers, and this thing's really good. And then having the 60 round mag for a fast reload, this thing might start making a comeback. I think between this one and the Cold War AK, it's gonna take some time for people to warm up to, but I think people are gonna like it. The Stoner, I just put out a video this week about this build. It's basically just going to go over it really fast. Agency suppressor, match grade barrel, axial arms 3x optic, field agent grip, and then again with the rear grips you can go serpent, you can go airborne, or you can go with a Raider pad. 75 round mags does kind of be a hassle sometimes, which is more than what we're used to with an AR, but you don't have a fast reload like you do with an AR. So you could also put in the fast mag if you want better ADS times. If you don't care too much about ADS times, you can go with the 120 round speed mag, so you get more bullets, obviously, faster reload time, but it does reduce your ADS times. Or you just go with the regular 120. So you can kind of pick and choose whatever you want. I think I would probably, like, if I had to go with a mag, I'd probably go with just the regular 120. It's because you already have more bullets than the regular 75. The reload times are the same, but the 120 you have more bullets and there's no ADS penalty. The problem is just the mobility at that point. Now you don't get a rear grip, or now you don't get a stock. So these builds are definitely, the Cold War builds are definitely, you can make them how you want your playstyle, but that's the basic build on these guns. All right, guys, so we're going to start this off like we did all the other ones. So getting the absolute fastest TTKs you can get out of these guns. So headshots only and already ADS. Bruin. What? Bet you weren't expecting that, huh? Then right behind it, Stoner. What? I thought you said the MG82 was the best. I know, we'll go over it. And then MG82 dead last. Already ADS'd. told you guys that the ADS is bad. So obviously you saw the Bruin go very quickly from the bottom, or from the top to the bottom, and as far as placements go. Stoner, MG82, right next to each other. All right, so now we're going to get more into like the more practical TTKs. So this is going to be chest shots, already ADS'd, which again, with a long range build, you're probably already going to be ADS. You don't matter too much about it, but I do feel like the ADS for these guns does need to be addressed, because that Bruin, again, that's my biggest reasoning why I don't end up using this gun. And then, so running the tac laser, this build is with the tac laser, by the way, so it has the faster ADS. But then you don't have that recoil control, so it's definitely harder, which again is good. It's the number 2 best TTK gun in the game. It should be easy to use, and then right on top of that is the MG82, which is even harder to use. I don't know if you guys have tried to use it ever since the recoil nerf, but it's pretty rough. So chest shots only, MG82 number 1. Stoner right there, extremely easy recoil to use, probably one of the easier ones in the whole game. But then the Bruin doesn't have any kind of drop off, so we're gonna be looking more obviously long range stuff. But this portion of the Stoner, when I've been using it, has definitely gotten me out of some situations. I actually have a clip up on my TikTok where I ran out of bullets in my secondary and had to use my Stoner within like 10 meters and ended up winning the whole fight 3v1. Check it out. And then, like I said, but here's the Bruin, number 2 long range TTK, and the Stoner at number 3. Stomach shots, pretty much same thing. Doesn't seem to be a multiplier, so that's that. Moving on to JGod's chart. Sorry again if you're watching this in a dark room, I apologize. So this chart right here has the long range TTKs ordered from best to worst. So like I said, up top, and these are going to be, I don't know exactly what value he used. He says practical shots to kill, so I'm assuming that there's like a mix of like headshots, stomach shots, and extremities. But as we just saw, the data from True Game data ends up transferring over either way. So MG82 is up top, right behind it is the Bruin. Yeah, I mean, if you can control the recoil, I saw a pretty gnarly clip from Tfue, which he has like some of the best recoil control in the game. Like he uses the RAM like I've never seen before, but that's neither here nor there. But I mean, he melted like 4 people insanely fast. You can't argue with the TTK, but LMGs, I think, are always going to be, obviously the Bruin had a top spot for the longest time, but it was a different kind of LMG. It has a regular magazine, so reload, you can get right back into the fight. MG82's got a pretty long reload. Stoner's not too bad, but it's still longer than the Bruin. So I think LMGs aren't ever going to be like top contender, like tournament style weapons, but they definitely can be, depending on the situation. And the stats definitely back them up. And then further down, I mean, it's not even that far down, it's still right up there, is the Stoner, 668. So not that far behind the Bruin. Still really good, really easy recoil to manage. Stoner's really good. I've been saying it since like season 3. I've been using this gun, even before the barrel buffs. I was actually used to melt vehicles with this thing. Yeah, so I mean, those are those charts to back that up. Let's go ahead and jump over to the next one. All right, so these are going to be, again, sorry for the brightness, these are going to be the mixing in of headshots. So still up top, as we saw in the chart before, hitting 1 headshot on the Bruin or the MG82 doesn't lower your TTK. Hitting 2 lowers it down just a little bit on the MG82. The Bruin actually drops down quite a bit, which again, we saw that in the chart. If I'm using the MG82, I'm not worried about hitting headshots. I'm worried about just hitting shots. And honestly, like, the TTK is the best out of everything. So it's, you don't need to focus on headshots, but if you do, it's going to drop it, but you have to hit 2. So keep that in mind. Damage per mag is insane. This thing, 2,700 damage per mag, which is just nuts. You can full 6 people and you can down 10 of them. So as I said before, if a hacker ever gets his hands on this, it's going to be a bad day for all of us. Bruin, I think, yeah, so he's using the 60 round mag to compare on this, which is good. I didn't go over that in the build as well. I guess if you wanted to, you could use the commando and the tac laser and then just have a regular 100 round belt. But that's not really going to do too much for your ADS time, because the 60 round actually does decrease your ADS. So I guess you could use the 100. I don't really see the need to, unless you're having a hard time with the recoil, like a really hard time with the recoil, and you don't care about ADS times. So that's where that falls. Stoner, gotta hit 2 headshots, but if you hit 2 headshots, again, as we saw, it drops down the TTK quite a bit. I end up running more than 75 round mag on this one, just so I can have more mobility, which is actually what he has on this as well. Damage per mag still really good, 2100. You just gotta hit your shots. I don't know what it is with the Stoner, but the tracers seem to be a lot thicker, so it's hard for me to like see, because like the tracers end up covering. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, or it's just the fast fire rate. I've never even tried to use a tracer round gun, like the colorful tracer rounds with this gun, because they're already hard enough to see, but maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. But so that's kind of the breakdown of all these guns. Again, I don't think that the LMGs are ever gonna have like an average play style like audience, I guess you can say. I think that they're always going to be some sort of a niche, because there's always going to, they're slow, ADS times are slow, movements are slow, reloads are slow, but TTKs are high. So again, I think this meta is very balanced. I think it's in a good spot. The better TTK guns definitely have a lot of drawbacks that make them not usable. Again, MG82, fastest TTK gun in the game, long range TTK. Not a lot of people are using it because the reload is slow, ADS time is slow, and the recoil is really hard to use. So, if you're a top tier player and you can control that recoil, you're gonna strive off of it. But at the end of the day, it's still slow and it still reloads slow. So it's like, you got to take everything into accountability with your playstyle. Me using all 3 of these, I end up veering more towards the Stoner. Just because, again, it's really easy to use. You can down a lot of people with it. You can melt vehicles with it. Again, I still need to do more testing with the BRUEN. Looking at these numbers, I definitely want to use the BRUEN more, because I think it's going to make its way up eventually. It might receive a nerf, honestly, because it is slightly OP. That, like I said, really the ADS is the only thing holding it back from taking over Warzone. If that's ever addressed for whatever reason, the BRUEN's going to be back. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I missed something. The RPD was a really close contender, but I've never really used it, and I think it's pretty similar to the Stoner. It's really easy to use, but the TTK times are just a little bit worse, so that's why I'd end up going with the Stoner. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, like I said before, I'm only going to be doing these when like a new weapon drops, or a new season comes out, or like another huge patch notes hits. So, and again, they're not going to come out right away. I want to do my own testing. One, it takes JGOD and all them time to look over it, and I want to have the numbers to back up stuff. And 2, I want real world testing. I want to be able to go out and test these guns and see how well that they actually do, because as we've seen, numbers are just a part of it. Usability is a huge portion. TTKs don't matter if you're not hitting your shots. So got to take that stuff in accountability, and then also building them different ways. I kind of know what I'm doing with builds, but sometimes I don't. So it might take 3 or 4 games until I figure out the right build for a gun to match my playstyle. And that's why I kind of give you guys the open gamut, as far as this attachment does this. So if you're this kind of person, use this. If you're this, then use this. I know that was a lot of thises, but kind of get where I'm going with that. So thanks again, guys, for sticking around to the very end. Make sure you guys like the video. Check me out on Twitch. I'm going to leave a link down in the description below, so you guys can go and check that out. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.